So I've just hopped out of the taxi, which was, it cost me about €2 from the city centre, which is pretty good. We've made it to the Genocide Victim Memorial. Just before we get over to the main monument, I wanted to point out that all of these trees in this park here have little plaques on them. For example, this one here says, "This tree was planted by the President of the Swiss Confederation, Didier Buchhalter." It looks like all of these trees have been planted by politicians from other countries. Here we have something from a secretary from France. I believe these are all politicians and political entities who recognize the genocide. It's something that some countries don't recognize. Turkey refuses to recognize. I believe Azerbaijan doesn't recognize it either. Czech Republic, Lebanese Republic. A lot of Armenians died during this genocide, and it's something, once again, that a lot of people don't really know about. So we'll head to the memorial. I'll see if there's some information around there, and I'll hopefully get some good views of the city if this fog cleared up, but it doesn't look like it's clearing anytime soon, but we'll see how we go. Wow, so that museum was really touching, really moving, and very informative. I highly recommend it if you come to Yerevan. It's free entry. They accept donations, of course, but it's fantastic. There's lots of information in English, lots of pictures, and lots of horrible stories. I knew a bit about this genocide before I came here, but I'm glad I went to the museum to find out a little bit more. So basically, Armenia was part of the Ottoman Empire for many years, Turkey. So they suffered severe cruelty at the hands of the Turks for many years. This was before the genocide. Back in the days, Armenia is a Christian country, so back in the days, the Turks, who were Muslim, considered the Armenians to be inferior. Then, during the time of World War I, the Turks decided that they needed to retake their lands because the Armenians were occupying lots of eastern Turkey, or western Armenia, which now is currently in modern-day Turkey. And they committed genocide through several stages. They killed all of the Armenian officers in the Turkish army. They imprisoned and killed political leaders, educational leaders, thinkers, important people in Armenian society. And then the third and most cruel and final stage was the massacre and deportation of as many Armenians as possible. And women and children and old people were sent to the desert, to the Arabian desert, to suffer, to perish. Children were thrown off buildings, were thrown into lakes, were killed, were burnt alive, had their skin ripped off. Women were slaughtered. Pregnant women were used as target practice. The womb was used as a target practice. And this is just some of the terrible ways that they slaughtered the Armenian people. I'm not going to go more into that because it's something that you should really be studying and not hearing from me. But it is really, really sad, and what's most sad, I think, is that still today it's not recognized by Turkey. They haven't accepted responsibility for what their ancestor did, you know. I even included in the video there a little quote from Hitler, almost as if to justify the Holocaust, no? And even Germany has taken responsibility for that. So it would be a big step forward in Turkish and Armenian relations, which I imagine are non-existent to this day, for them to be able to step up and admit what they've done. Anyway, I've had enough of sad things for one day, so I'm going to hop in a taxi or a metro or something. I'm a little bit far away from the city centre. You can't see it at all. It's that direction. But it is a very foggy day in Yerevan. It's the football stadium down there. I'm going to see if there's a football game I could go to. That would be really cool, actually. But let's head into town. I'm feeling really hungry. I'm feeling like some nice shazliks, some typical meat that they have here on sticks. It's very cheap. I said that before and I'll say it again. Armenia is incredibly cheap to visit. The taxi was very cheap to get here. My hostel is costing me about €3.50 a night. Even in the restaurant I went to last night, which was an expensive touristy restaurant, I split a meal with somebody, and I think the total bill was €20, and we both had 2 half-liter beers. I had a shot of homemade apricot vodka. Apricot is a typical Armenian thing, and I'll get into that in the next video or in a couple of videos. Hopefully I'll get to do some tastings or try some apricot flavored things. I also had roast lamb, roast potato, roast vegetables, some hummus and bread, and the total bill was €20. So I'm imagining that I can eat pretty good off the street for maybe 5. So without further ado, let's get into the city centre in 3, 2, 1. I hope that was a smooth transition because I don't remember which hand I did the click with. So we're right in the centre of town in Republic Square. I wanted to point out one little thing here. The colour of the buildings. Every inch of the city has this kind of like red, crimsony, browny brick building material, and it's really, really nice, and it's really beautiful. This one not so much. Over here, maybe you can't see with the fog, but that building there also, over here especially, it's really, really nice. I mean, it just adds like a little touch of color to the whole city. It's not like some of these other countries that I've been to, these old ex-Soviet countries like Lithuania, Kiev especially, which is very grey, very old and industrial. It's really nice here. I'm about to go on a free walking tour, and I'm going to learn a lot more about this city, so I'll learn about the history of it. I have a feeling it's a relatively new city. Armenia is an incredibly old country, but the city of Yerevan, I believe, is relatively new in the last couple of 100 years or so. Anyway, I'm on the hunt for a shazlik, a nice stick of meat. I'm sure it'll be around here somewhere. I can see some shops over there. I saw heaps of them last night, but I can't find any of them at the moment. So they'll be around here somewhere, I'm sure. I've got about an hour to find that, eat it, and then go on my tour.
A few moments later.
A half-litre beer and this thing of meat with the bread and everything, €2.70. €2.70.